What's up, everybody? How you guys doing today? What's up, guys? Come on in, come on in, come on in, come on in, guys, and have a seat right there. Had to belch a little bit. Come on in, come on in, come on in, guys. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day, happy middle of the week, or whatever you want to call it. Come on in and sit down. Let's talk today. First of all, before I get started, I want to tell you guys how much I am enjoying just being a content creator. For the last 28 weeks or the second week of July, all the way up until the third day of January 2024, I am really enjoying day and night putting out content for you. That's right. And not only do I do it to inspire you guys, and you guys can learn from my personal experience as a middle-aged man, but also I learn from myself as well. And I'm gonna tell you guys something, a little secret, okay? It's good and normal to learn stuff every hour on a daily basis. As long as God got this breath inside of you, you need to be learning as much as possible, intaking, and then once you intake the information in your mind, right, of what you just learned, you see and discern which information is right for you, okay? Because every information and advice is not good for everybody. And, just to chime on that a little bit, what I mean, it just depends on what situation that you are. Because if that advice that was given to you doesn't work in your reality or where you live at, your setting or whatever, then it's irrelevant to you, right? But you know what I mean. You know what I mean because I'm talking in common sense right about now. But before I get to the topic today, and I'm just ranting right now, I want to thank all you guys because as of Sunday, all of the 31st, all the way up to now, which is the 3rd, every day I said I need 48 for 49. Now I'm at 50. 50. So I want to thank the person who is the 50th person that subscribed to my channel, and I'm meeting guidelines. Also, not only will I be able to live stream, but I get to answer people's questions. I get to relate to you guys. And I think there's a waiting period of 24 hours or something like that. So thank you to the person yesterday that gave me that 50th subscription, and also the people that gave me the 48th and 49th as well. Thank all three of you people since Sunday. And somebody, I think, because it really was 46, so I want to say 47, 48, 49, 50. 4 people. Thank you very much for all the 47, 48, 49, and 50th person that subscribed. Thank you very, very, very much for subscribing to my channel, because it's going to get better. Just like I told you guys last month in December, it's going to get better, and I'm more excited. And this show is going to change for the better. And then I get to relate to you guys. Not only will I get to read the live stream chats, but then I get to talk to each and every one of you guys on an individual basis. That is exciting to me because I get to put out more streams, and they get to be longer, 2, 3, maybe 4 hours, guys. Depends on when you have to go to bed, right? But anyway, guys, the topic and subject matter that I talk about on a daily basis, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what background you come from, what race you are. I'm going to say it again, or nationality. It doesn't matter who you are, male or female, what race you are, religious background, whatever your situation is. I want a community of all different races of people right here because we can relate every single day, believe it or not. When you put down the political side and the politics and the disagreement and all that kind of stuff, and you take away the politics of it, we all live the same life, guys, and that's the bottom line. And I had to learn that. I knew it as a teenager. I learned it as a teenager in the 80s, and I stayed by that since the 80s, or the late 80s, I should say. So, what are we talking about today? Today is facing your reality on a day-to-day basis. That's right, facing your realities on a day-to-day basis. And listen, it don't necessarily have to be a negative thing. It's just that in order for you to subscribe to a new you and move forward with your life, you have to realize and think and sit back and realize and really chime in. Where are you in your day-to-day, minute-to-minute, hour-to-hour life, second-to-second? What are you doing right now? What habits are you creating every week, every day? Okay? You got to think about your circumstances and how it could change for the better, how you could move stuff around and adjust to get to where you need to be at. You don't have to do extreme changes unless it's necessary, or if it's just holding you all the way back. But that takes, like I told you guys, step by step. But right now, what we're talking about is your everyday circumstances that you face. You got to look at yourself in the mirror, guys. I got to. And is it pleasant? Hell no. Not all the time. Now, on the other hand, you could have a normal circumstance, but you just say, okay, to make this even better, what could I do? But if you don't like what you see in the mirror, or you don't like your situation, you have to go back and sit back and think to yourself and say, okay, every time I get paid every 2 weeks or every week or whenever you get paid, once a month, whenever, what am I doing with this amount of money? What habits that I enjoy? Because, you know, we as American people, including myself, we love to be pleasured, guys. We love to be entertained. We love that. That is a normal nature human thing. But at the same time, in order to you to be successful or whatever goal you're trying to reach for, you got to put it in your mind, guys. There's a sacrifice that I have to do, and it's going to take this X amount of time to get there. And I can use so many examples of what I'm talking about, especially from my personal life and the people that I've known and dealt with on a daily basis. There was a female back in the early 2000s. She really, now you hear women talking about they want to go to nursing and school and then be a LPN and then an RN and so forth. And I just knew this female from around the way. I never dated her or nothing. She was just a friend, like an associate mostly. And she would tell stories about her current situation, how she was living with her mom. And, you know, at that time, of course, apartments was pretty reasonable. I think it was $700 a month, one bedroom. And she wanted to get a 2-bedroom, and I forgot the reason why, and it was like $800. Okay, so at this time, she was working at a job, but she wanted to uh, get the money that she needed because I think her father passed away or something and left her some money. Um, and she just needed to make $36,000 a year at that time. And she was making like 28, and so she, the job offered overtime, but she wasn't taking advantage of it because she was in a habit of used to hanging out with her female friends, messing with this dude who was, of course, no good for her, and on and on and on. And, she just had a habit of smoking little blunts every now and then on the weekend. And, she drank a little bit to the point where it became a habit in her life. And every 2 weeks when she got paid, she was in this situation where her priorities were minimum and her entertainment was maximum. So not only did a lot of people give her better advice than even me, they gave it away. But see, sometimes when you give advice to people and it be very great advice, a lot of times people will not, they hear you, but it goes out the other end because you're not vibing with them. So when I said something to her and we was talking in front of the storefront, I was able to communicate and relate to her better because of the way I presented it to her, if that makes any sense. I was saying the same thing that every other person that cared about her, family and friends, and her situation, but they was coming at her and keeping it real and being hardcore. And sometimes you gotta have grace with people, if that makes any sense. Sometimes it just depends on how you present stuff to people, because being raw and hard and all that stuff, that these foolishness people that people talk about on the internet all the time, that don't always work, because you don't know the psychology of what's going on in somebody's heart and mind. And that's what I'm trying to explain to you guys. It just depends on the situation. Now, and this is what I was talking about yesterday, one size don't fit all. And see, in the black community, we think that I gotta come at this person hard. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. Okay? Being hard and real all the damn time, that can cause psychological damage in any community, whether it's black, white, whatever. Okay? Sometimes you gotta be a good listener to people and kind of play the role of psychologist in a certain way. Hear where they're coming from in their situation and assess it a certain way. You don't have to be hardcore to people all the damn time. Unless you don't told that person several times in a nice manner, and then you had to come at them stringent. But if you just coming at somebody asking you for advice, and you just coming at them and keeping it real, which is some bullshit these days, but that's not a here or there. That's all like a trend these days. Keeping it real is when you actually care about somebody. And when I was a teenager in the 80s, people that said keeping it real back then, they actually made sure that you got from one step to another. The older people, when I was a teenager and they was in their 30s and stuff, they made sure that your welfare was good. They made sure that everything was fine with you. And see, when I was growing up in the 80s, we had two phrases that's not in the black sentences no more. Keeping it real and taking care of business. That taking care of business is gone now, because you actually have to get off your ass and do some work and take care of somebody. Now it's just a fad to say keeping it real, but nobody know what the fuck that really means. It means something negative like exploiting people and all this kind of stuff to make the money. And I get that on TikTok and all that stuff, right? But the taking care of business part is gone. And it's gone in. And that's why a lot of these young people are misled in their 20s because they need somebody that's going to care about them. So anyway, back to the subject at hand. So I'm a good listener. I listen to people. I don't care, like I said, if you're black, white, whatever. Even if I disagree with you, no matter what race you are, even my own, even if I disagree with you, I'm still going to listen. And then I say, okay, can I give my opinion? Most people say yes, but some say no. And I say, okay, I'm not going to argue with you. Not going to do that. I'll just keep it moving. But I told her what to do. And I told her what my father, who's a great man, write things down. See what you're doing every week and every 2 weeks that you get paid. Allocate how you're spending your money. And if your priorities is like his and your entertainment is way up here, then there's a problem. You got to switch that up. If you're not happy with dude, leave him the hell alone. Cut out the weed because it's clogging your mind. Get around the right people. You may even have to intern and do some volunteer work in order to be that nurse. And I went on and on and on and on. I think at the time I had a tablet and I wrote some stuff down. And then she came back, I saw her a week later, she came back to me and said, that's good, but can you add such and such, such? So I was making an impact. Didn't ask her for nothing. Just talked on the street just like a regular person, just an associate. And it was the funniest thing in the world. It was kind of like I just came out of nowhere and just was giving this lady advice, this young woman advice. Didn't say nothing, didn't ask for $1, nothing, not even a hug, just a handshake. She gave me a handshake because she appreciated the advice I was giving her at the time. And I realized right then and there that a lot of time God works when you help other people through you. And vice versa. God helps me when he comes through other people and give me advice. But you got to look at your priorities in life, guys, and you got to look at that in that mirror on a daily basis and see what's going on. Because that's a hard thing for us American people to do. We hate looking in that damn mirror and looking at the reality, because sometimes we'll say it's everybody else's fault. But when you look in that mirror and you realize that, okay, what am I not doing to make my situation better? And sometimes you can be going to a corner store and a woman or a man may approach and say, hey, you seem like you got your stuff together. Could I ask you a question? And then I'll turn around and say, sure, what is it that you need? Then it starts a conversation. Then I would give that person advice, and then I would write it down with a sheet of paper. And then luck, or you say luck will, blessing will have it that you may see that person again in a couple of more weeks. Ain't nothing but God, but that's just my opinion. every day I have to look at myself in the mirror and assess what's going on with my personal situation. And you got to look at the fact that looking in the mirror is not a bad thing. And if you in a situation, it's going to take time for you to get out of that situation. Because being hard on yourself sometimes don't have to always be a negative thing, and you don't have to be hard on yourself all the time because of your situation. Okay? It's just that you got to assess what's going on with you and turn it into something good. What I do personally is pray about it. I ask God to give me the wisdom and put the people around me that knows better. And I'm gonna tell you guys something. You'll be amazed who God sent to you. This is going to sound controversial. This is going to sound funny. I've even had winos who I knew was telling the truth, who opened my mind up to certain things. But you have to assess that for yourself. And everybody has common sense in them. That's the one thing that God has put in us, logical common sense. It ain't just men that just got logic, which is true. We emotionally got logic. But when you're dealing with a day-to-day situation, it's everybody, especially when it comes down to a survival situation. Now, when you're in a relationship, of course, I do believe that men should lead. Absolutely. But in a day-to-day survival situation, both parties can come together and come up with a solution. And that's real talk. There's nothing wrong with looking at yourself in the mirror to come up with a positive solution. Because when you do that, there's a lot of reflection, and it don't always have to be regret. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more. I can't wait to speak with you guys on an individual basis. I can't wait to read your comments. So please put your comments in there. Also, I got to look at myself in the mirror because I got to update that Tim's Fashion 101. That's my fault. Only got one damn video on there. It's coming though, guys. It's been 3 weeks. I think I did a good job. But I've been neglecting that because I've been doing so many other things. But it's coming because I'm putting a lot of emphasis on changing this whole studio around and making it better. But anyway, guys, I want to thank you guys very, very, very much for, first of all, the new subscribers and all the people that's viewing my channel. Now listen, if this is the channel for you, only if this is the channel for you, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that like button, and also that notification button. That way you know when new content is being presented to you. Also share, go that hand with like-minded people like yourself, okay? And the reason why we say that as YouTubers is because sometimes this may help and affect other people as well. I know who would love to listen to this channel. You know, other family members, auntie, friends, your wife, your husband, whoever. And I will be glad, especially when I start going live, talking to people. And we could learn from each other, guys. And that's the cool thing about it. I can give you my opinion. You can give me yours. No matter what race you are, I love each and every one of you. I love my black people. I love you. I love my white people. I love you mixed people. I love Hispanic, Asian. I love everybody. I love all people of all races, period. Okay? I love everybody. I don't care what race you are. I love you. And remember, I'm not just Tim, but I am Tim's on demand. Oh my, yes sir, and yes ma'am. Now, tomorrow is Love Thursday, so I give that love advice on Thursdays. You guys know that. So if you're looking forward to that love advice, hit me up tomorrow, okay? But for now, I'm going to let you guys meditate on that and just do me one favor. Go ahead and let yourself out. Go on. Make sure you close that door so no flies and critters won't come in. And I'll catch you guys on the next one, okay? So, but for now, go ahead and think about what I said and make sure you make that first step, okay? By looking at yourself in the mirror, because I sure do. But until then, have a happy afternoon, evening, and a good night.